Yeah, shall we start the session, ma'am?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
great. So, good noon, everyone, and welcome to the Mastering Up International Conference Series 2025 to 2026. So, today's theme is International Conference on Education Technology and Digital Learning. It's a super exciting stuff again. Actually, we have already wrapped up our foundation session. We kicked off with a welcome speech, followed by the conference address and the company introduction. So, our amazing guest speakers delivered some fantastic sessions, and we had a great question answer with all of you. So, now it's time to move into our afternoon session. Let's keep the energy going, keep it chill, interactive, and fun. So, grab your coffee or juice something, get comfy, and let's dive in. So, all right, everyone, now get excited as we move on to our third guest speaker with an awesome title. So, we are diving into a super exciting topic, AI powered anthologies for intelligent e learning, bridging knowledge gaps through semantic technologies. This is all about how AI and semantic technologies can make learning smarter and more connected, and helping students fill gaps in knowledge and truly understand concepts at a deeper level. Imagine an e learning system that not only teaches but actually thinks with you. That's the power of AI driven ontologies. And here is the thought to keep us inspired. The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. So let's use this session to explore how technology can make that learning even more meaningful and accessible for everyone. And before we begin Dr. Monica Rani's session, I would like to take a moment to introduce her. So, hey everyone, I hope you are ready for some serious inspiration because now we have the absolute honor of welcoming a truly remarkable personality to our session. So, please join me in giving a big cheerful welcome to Dr. Monica Rani, lecturer at Penat University, India. Dr. Rani brings over
Yes.
12 years of amazing experience in research, teaching, and technical guidance. And she is known for her logical mindset, practical problem solving skills, and her passion for continuous learning. Her expertise spans semantic web, ontologies, AI, machine learning, and e learning technologies, and she has been shaping innovative research and intelligent learning frameworks that make education smarter and more personalized. As we welcome her today, let's remember this thought, the same one. The beautiful thing about learning is that no one take it away from you. So get ready to be inspired, learn a lot, uh, and see how cutting edge technologies are transforming education. So at the end, I would like to introduce to the motto of Dr. Monica Rani: empowering minds through innovation, learning, and the pursuit of knowledge. So, I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Monica, and also thanks a lot for joining us today. And over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. I heartily welcome each one of you. I hope my screen is visible to each one of you. My screen is visible?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Once again, very heartiest welcome to each one of you in this international conference on education, technology, and digital learning. Through this, I try to contribute in problem formulation so that it will surround explore the role of ontology in building the semantic web, which is a backbone. The ontologies are, as we all know, ontologies are backbone of semantic web. So we will try to contribute, try to formulate a problem so that we can build around the ontology which contributes to the artificial intelligence, since we all know there is an entrepreneurship and all the ways were contributed into ontologies and artificial intelligence, how they are merged, what are the application areas, what are the contribution explore, and where we need to exactly work, where the e-learning what are the exact problem of e-learning, whether it's developing e-learning content, whether developing personalized content, whether developing recommender system, whether it's a hybrid recommender system, collaborative recommender system, or other type of recommender system. So education e-learning is a part of that platform which needs to be taken around all the problems. So let's begin with the what is exactly the contribution of ontology learning in building artificial intelligence. Before we start, I just want to just give a quick overview about moving to the problem formulation. Let's have a quick overlook about what are the major application areas where we can contribute through AI and what we can explore in this. For example, we can explore in personalized education app. There are various already existing app, but whatever we are looking from particular research point of view is to solve any particular problem, whether it's related to the developing content, pedagogical effectiveness, and measuring parameters for e-learning system. It's actually very hard to measure the evaluation parameter for e-learning system. These all the personalized app which already exist, for example Baiju or any other existing app, it's very hard to validate this app. Validation needs a two-way communication. So the validation for a particular app, every app ensure that we are the number one, but how to explore that, how to validate that, it's a big challenge in e-learning system. Since semantic web is able to explore, the team Bernali in 2001 coined a term semantic web, which means how to make the web from web 2.0 to web 3.0, which means how to convert the web of documents to the web of data. Ultimately, AI is all about how we explore the data and make it personalized in respect to the e-learning system. Here, we are looking forward for building a application so that our research oriented problems can be explored and expanded in through the usage of ontologies in terms of e-learning system. Please, if anyone have any questions, please share with me. So now we are looking for the all the problem formulation. The stronger the problem in the e-learning domain, the stronger the problem in e-learning domain, the solution will be goal oriented. Whether it's a personalization of the e-learning content, whether it's a developing of e-learning content, whether it's a distribution of that e-learn content which is developed by some agent, either it's by humanly developed or by the machine developed. They can be both way, but the distribution is also challenge. The navigation, tracking, monitoring, and rearranging, and the continuous update of that particular e-learning content is a challenge. Whether we talk about e-learning architecture, e-learning pedagogy, e-learning scrum, or from scratch we need to start developing the content. Once we are able to develop that content which is machine readable. Before that, Web 2.0 was developing the content in terms of web of documents. Now we have to develop the content in terms of web of data. Why we need that? Because once we get that data accessible by machine readable, then our recommender system problem, recommending of e-learning will change. The process we think about the recommending the e-learning content will completely change. Whether we talk about any kind of recommender system, hybrid, collaborative, or any other kinds of recommendation system, so one has to look into the specific problem. Through sharing these ppts, I will try to grab your attention toward the existing problems in e-learning domain and how we will solve in near upcoming future, and how the e-learning is evolving. Let's have a look. There are the various career opportunities in e-learning. People are trying to develop e-learning plus game, so they are trying to do the gamification industry is one innovation in AI field where the people are contributing continuously. And today's in the world, number one industry is a gamification, which is completely based on educational AI based apps which help us to contribute in this. By specific problem, I will try to explain what exactly, how to solve a problem in the AI domain using ontology. First we need to identify the problems. Once we are able to identify, the bigger we identify the problem, the result will be consequently the bigger one. The level of the degree of contribution depends on the degree of the problems we have chosen from the problem formulation. Thus, as I believe all are the research scholars are here and trying to resolve certain problem in their own domain, but here the problem formulation in e-learning is the upgradation, monitoring, the
Ma'am,
continuous.
actually, sorry for the interruption. Can you
Yes,
maximize the screen?
yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
great.
And questions are please welcomed so that it will be an interactive session.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Please feel free to ask any question. So there are the positions like prompt engineer. Today the highest package is for prompt engineer. So these are built, the how these positions are created based on the data, how the data is managed. That is the power of our data. How the, whether we talk about the data warrior, data scientist, data engineer, they all depends on the data position. So in order to build that position, one has to work on the particular data. Whether we talk about the machine learning algorithms, whether it's supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and any kind of other learning algorithms, there needs to be work on data. There is a huge difference between AI and machine learning, which people get confused about. So one has to tackle specific problem. When we talk about the AI, it's about the building applications which is based on the human common senses. When we talk about machine learning, basically it deal with the data. So one has to search for the what position we are looking for what application we are looking for, what is our objective regarding our problem formulation. So I just want to repeat and emphasize again and again, the problem formulation is a very important step. Once we are able to secure a uh, well problem, able to reach to the very good problem, then only we can reach out to the solution. Solution is always a secondary option. First, the problem formulation is very important. So here we will discuss few problem formulation, how to formulate the correct problem. This is the basic step, fundamental step in a research. So let's start with that. And after, once we are able to secure the correct problem in e-learning domain, then only we can provide the multiple solutions towards it. As we know what is the current data, what, whether we talk about the AI engineers, ML engineers, so one has to see the what are the technologies we are using for that. Per second we are working on a data, and data is changing, and how to capture that data, the format of that data needs to tackle. First we need to analyze in what format we are getting that data. Once we are able to figure it out that what is the exact format of that data, then only we will be able to retrieve or accurate answer for that data. Then only we can fire a query on that. For example, on the normal database we fire SQL query, while when we work on ontologies, we fire Sparkle queries. There is a huge difference between SQL query and the Sparkle query. Sparkle query give us a result. That result is completely based on ontologies. Now, why we need ontology? What is the requirement ontology? Why our database failing to do so? Today, I will try to answer you with these all set of basic questions and along with it, appropriate research problem. What is there which existing database fail to do? For example, let me put it like this. For example, unique name assumption. Unique name assumption is the theory of the database where our ontology work on open world assumption. Database only work on the single data, but when we talk about the ontologies, it gives us opportunity to work on open world assumption. There is a huge difference between the closed world assumption and open world assumption. When things does not exist, then we cannot search for those. The database, your database will answer in terms of no. The result does not follow in the particular domain. But when we talk about the ontology, it gives us an opportunity of open world assumption. Means what is not existing, it does not mean it's not uh, applicable, it not usable, and it not reproducible. So result may vary in both the query setup. In the database, for example, we work on SQL. On the ontologies, we are working on the Sparkle query. And ultimately our goal is to build certain product which is deliver and deliverable product which serve our learners, whether it's a e-learners or that. But to understand a learner, what we needs to do, we needs to work on a certain idea and formulate a problem. That problem needs to be solved by users, and once we are able to do, then people used to launch their e-learning apps as a transformation of the digital education. But the reality is that from there the problem start, how to evaluate that app. For example, Amazon, Flipkart, they all work on a rating system, which is not a very uh, uh, a scientific approach for validation of their apps, because they involve human intervention and they can deviate the result very easily. So we prefer some scientific approach where it is discriminated, where result can be transparent, where it can be shown easily that how to obtain those results. Now let's have a look how the world is changing, how the real world problem is solved. One by one we will work towards a problem and get into the detail how the problem is solved through ontologies. Today I am trying to explore the role of ontology, which is a backbone of the semantic web, in finding a real time problem. So let's begin with that. Okay, as we know, previously, as web 1 is about to only about the static content. Web 2 talk about the tagging and everything which is related to the, for example, Facebook belongs to the social networking, belong to web 2. When we talk about the web 3, it belongs to the semantic web, where the approach is completely different. When we talk about the web 4, it depends on the emotional content of a particular human, which has been used in terms of data. So what we are trying to show is it's a very well known phenomenon how Tim Berners-Lee in 2001 coined a term semantic web, and how it changes to that, how the web of document, which is our normal Google search engine, is changing to the web of data. Now, what we will do with the web of data? The more we are connected, the more information we can retrieve in terms of knowledge base. The stronger our ontologies are, the stronger the efforts we put to build the ontologies. There are the few well-known ontology: gene ontology, food ontology, music ontologies. These are the well-known pizza ontologies. These are the well-known ontologies which contributes to the web 3.0. So once we able to build a strong ontology, then we will be able to apply technologies, then we will be able to retrieve the information from it. The stronger the similarly in the previous days, similarly how strong database is, the stronger the result is. Nowadays, how stronger your ontology, the stronger will be your result in transforming that particular knowledge of that particular domain. So let's begin from the web of data. When we talk about the web of documents, it just gives us a list of HTML pages. But as you guys know, we don't need the list of HTML pages. We need a particular data on which we needs to work. So let's see how that's evolved. This is a basic difference, so that we understand that how initially we are only able to owning the content. When there is a web 2.0, we are able to share that content, And when we talk about the web 3.0, we talk about the consolidating the content. Here only in web only directories. When we talk about the web 2, Facebook is in a good example, because we were able to tag each other. In the web 3, we are analyzing the behavior, the pattern of a particular user, the number of time it's visit, the number of visitation on a particular site, what is the user behavior. Now in the web 4.0, we are able to capture their particular emotions also. So, for example, EEG signal, we are able to capture human emotions in the ontologies. For example, student learning in the class and eye blink. The number of time eye blink is a capture of that particular emotion. So we are able to capture the emotion. The interested students will blink less number of time, and the other students which are non-interesting, they are having different behavior. So these behavior help us the teacher to understand what are the degree of association, the degree of involvement of a particular class student in a particular class within a time frame. So results are instance. These results are developed only basis of the how the how the data is collected. Basically, we are trying to collect the data, and how the data is collected in a form rather than in a form of database. We are going for this time on the ontologies. Why we are emphasizing on the ontologies? Because they are agent readable. Agent can read them once the data. For example, Wikipedia. Initially, people used to use Wikipedia, which is an editable version. Now the people are using DBpedia. The DBpedia, which is machine readable. Wikipedia content is there, human can read from the Wikipedia. When there are content available in, whether it's in a RDF form, means resource description framework, or OWL, ontology web language, it depends on what format the data is. If that data is accessible by machine, then it will produce the good result. If the similarly data is accessible, if it is accessible by only human, that its capacity is limited then. So we need to give the opportunity. Here the AI roles come. How we are giving that opportunity to the users, how we are giving opportunity to machine to read that data. Once a machine is able to do that, then results will be in a fractions of second, as we all know about it. So we need to give opportunity to machine to work on a particular data. And how it is possible? It is only possible because of ontologies, which is backbone of semantic web. So I'm trying to emphasize what will be the consequence of using ontology rather than just in a database, because the engineers keep on firing a query on the DBpedia, which is similar to the Wikipedia. So DBpedia hold many linked open cloud data, which able to us to access go through the different domain. In a fraction of second, we are able to do interdisciplinary research just because of linked open data connectivity. Basically, ontologies which provide the files are stored .owl format. These files are very useful once we are able to deploy them on the cloud. Once our files are deployed on the cloud, agent can use that file and can work effectively on those files. So basically, formally, how to define ontologies? Ontologies is a formal, explicit specification of shared conceptualization. Formal means it is a machine readable. Explicitly, it's explicitly defined what is the concept, what is the relationship among those concepts, what is domain, what is range. And this is shared conceptualization because it is accepted by the group of people. So our research is emphasizing use of ontologies and why we are doing it and how to navigate through any problem using the ontologies. You just name me the domain, I will tell you in how to use the ontology in that particular domain. Once your domain is clear, then application of ontology become very easier. And once we are able to implement agent on that particular ontology, then our task reduce to the n number of time. Our task complexity, ultimately the objective of a computer science engineering is to reduce the time complexity and the space complexity. By using ontology, we are able to achieve both the objective, whether it's a time complexity or whether a space complexity. So being a researcher, no matter in what domain we are contribute, our emphasis is to reduce the time and space, and both can be achieved using ontologies, which are the backbone of semantic web. Now let me show how it is done in the real time scenario with the problem. But before that, let me give you an overview of what are the types of ontology and the level of the formalities in that particular ontology. Initially, we used resource description framework. Here, there are the certain limitations. We cannot represent in the resource description framework. We were unable to represent the relationship and the properties. Properties like transitive properties, inherent properties. These properties, RDF was unable to do that. That's why we moved to the OWL, Web Ontology Language. RDF was unable to work on the integer data. So we need another language which is web ontology language. Once we store our data using the OWL file, we are able to fire the Sparkle query. Once we are able to fire the Sparkle query, we are able to obtain the results as per that particular domain. But how to build these ontology, what are the limitation of these ontology, what are the scope of these ontology, how to transform the real world problem into the terms of ontology. Let's have a look. When we talk about the top level ontology, it represents the universal knowledge, whether a particular event, process, knowledge, all are represented using the top level ontology. When we talk about the domain ontology, it talk about a particular domain. What is the domain? Domain here represents to the particular application area. For example, food ontology, gene ontology, domain ontology. So these are the particular domain. Which music ontology, it will represent music of a particular domain. Their specific knowledge, when there is a knowledge specific ontology that needs to be implemented into particular domain, that is domain ontology. When we talk about the core ontology, core ontologies are those ontology built in such a way that people inside the organization, people outside the organization, they both needs to be agree on that ontology. That is core ontology. Once the people within organization, outside the organization, when both are agree, then only we will be able to produce the result for that ontology. Then only we need to publish those ontologies. People used to build that ontology, publish that ontologies. uh, there are thousand people, thousand authors build single ontology and publish it. For example, SSN ontology, semantic sensor network ontology, which is published by 1,000 authors, more than 1,000 authors. In a particular, they deploy the information only about each sensor and their attributes, and those are represented in that particular ontology format. Now let's talk about the application ontology. Application ontology means that particular to the application specific. Yes, here the outside the organization may not agree to the ontology, because as I already described that it's a formal explicitly shared of concepts among the group, but it might be possible certain group of people does not approve that uh, ontology, then it's clearly indication that application ontologies are not suited for that particular problem. So one has to work as a team in order to build the ontology. This is suggested to build the ontology in a team format. Once we are able to build the ontologies in the team format, then we are able to retrieve good result. Now let's talk about the granularity of the representation of ontologies. To what level of the formality ontology needs to be represented, which means the level of formality. What is the level of the formality? Means it should have a much lesser information or more information or the deeper knowledge. It depends on the what uses you want to do with that ontology. If you are making an inference model means, for example, we inference the knowledge. Okay, two for example, two lines are there are the three lines, and how we three lines in a parallel row, how we identify that A is parallel to B, then B is parallel to C. But we, as a human being, as a mathematicians, we understand that A is already parallel to C. But how this inference knowledge can be obtained from the ontologies? Inference knowledge can be only obtained when you set a rule in that particular ontologies. Once you decide, write the rules in the ontologies, then reasoner like hermit reasoner, there is a reasoner which explore the relationship between the objects properties. Once you store about information, it reasoner can tell you what is the relationship between these two objects, what is the property assigned to that, and what are the class in which it is defined. Everything gets sorted just because giving the right information, and we need to give that right information by building ontology. There is a full-fledged career which says that ontology engineering. In ontology engineering, people used to build the ontologies which are well known in their particular domain. It also depends the level of the formality, whether informal ontology, whether when we talk about the formal ontology, RDF is an example of the formal ontology, and the OWL file, when we ontology web language, these are used for formal ontology representation. And similarly the semi-formal ontologies will have the degree of granularity, the degree of depth, the degree of knowledge which we acquire from that particular ontology will be lesser in terms of when we go for the formal ontology. So it is almost suggested most of the time to go for the formal ontologies, which is more deeper and developed. Now let's have a look in terms of e-learning specifically, how we see, because we all know e-learning is a domain which is changing so quickly. How we used to study today learn, before we talk e-learning, we need to understand few fundamental questions. What type of a learner we are, what analysis we need. Every learner is different from another learner, so we need a different approach. We cannot go for one fit size approach for each learning pattern, which is a very much struggle. For example, slow learner and fast learner. In our class, we normally encounter slow learner and fast learner. So faculty or teacher needs to have a different approach for both of them. How to deal with them, that faculty know better. But in our case, when we build a certain kind of ontology, it's our job to analyze which purpose is solved by which analysis. So one has to be creative analytic mode. So as a teacher, keep eye on every student and figure out which student need more attention. Similarly, the evaluation of the e-learning, whenever you are doing problem formulation, we need to focus on these aspects also. What will be our approach for developing e-learning content, because one content cannot fit all the learners. I hope most of the students are here so they understand each one of us are different. So we need different strategy, different how one solution can work for us when we all think differently. So we need fundamentally a different solution in order to deal. So customize, personalized e-learning content is required in today's world. One fit size will not work. So when we talk about the e-learning, it keep on evolving. How it is evolving, we need we need customized plan, which we call learning path sequence. We Learning path generation is a complete study how to develop a particular e-learning content, how to develop the e-learning content, how to develop e-learning architecture, how to build the pedagogy for that curriculum. So this is all are the activity which one has to see carefully in order to build the learner. But before we develop the e-learning content, we must understand the learner learning style, because as we know each learner is different, each learner is unique, so we need a different learning strategies. So here we can see ontology engineering, how ontology engineering help in this. Ontology engineering refers to the set of activity that concern ontology development process, ontology lifecycle, methodology, tools required to build a particular ontology. In particularly, now let's, why we are talking about the ontology in terms of e-learning, because we want to develop our e-learning content with the help of ontologies. My whole emphasis is to build the e-learning content using the ontologies. Once a user profile is, for example, you store user profile using ontologies, then you can distinguish between the learners, the types of learner, the requirement of the learners. Once you understand the requirement of each learner, then only you will be able to serve better. For that particular purpose, we need to store the user profile in terms of ontology, and we need to use store our e-learning content in the ontologies. For example, subjects like database management system, operating system, information retrieval, machine learning, artificial intelligence, their e-learning resource needs to be stored in our ontologies. From one side, another side, our user information, whether the user is active user, reflective user, sequential user, global learner, what type of learner it is. So we once we capture these informations in our ontology, then only we will be able to do better in e-learning context. Whether to serve better, we need to understand better. And here we can see what is the benefits of ontology, why we are using it to encode the knowledge make by, as we know, ontologies are shared among the groups, so we can encode the knowledge to make it understandable, to build a common vocabulary among all the users. So being a student, being a researcher, first we need to see the loopholes which we are missing in our e-learning system. As we keep on criticizing our e-learning system, our learning patterns, the study material and the content, so we need to build that. In order to build that, we require ontologies. And similarly, once we build our ontology for searching, semantic search, it allows us to do the semantic search. Okay, let's talk about when we store any information in our database, it's stored by only one name, by exactly one name. But when we store information in the ontology, it can have a multiple name. For example, we understand Sachin Tendulkar with a multiple names, whether you call it god of cricket or other synonyms. So all these synonyms, multiple synonyms, can be captured by ontologies. Now when previously we were not able to see the knowledge graph in the Google search engine. Now when we search about particular famous personality, we see down following a list of people which we are able to search related to this particular famous, that is only because of knowledge engine. knowledge engineering, that knowledge graph is developed based on the information stored in ontologies. These days ontologies has been used in various fields in order to do semantic retrieval, not only on the basis of the keyword retrieval. For example, previously Google search engine was working on the keyword, only on the base of the keyword. It does not understand when we talk find the keyword bank. It does not know whether we are talking about the river bank or the financial bank. So the keyword searching has its own limitations, so one has to go for the semantic search. When we talk about the semantic search, it is only possible when you store information in the form of ontologies. And once your ontologies is well known, well accepted, then it can be published in terms of linked open data cloud. Once you get the different countries can be associated with that. People, basically when they start a research on a particular domain, they all lack of a shared common data set. This is a very common problem being a researcher. So once you published your linked open data cloud, anyone can access it and the resource get open, so anyone can enjoy the same set of data. So now actually the results can be compared. Rather than saying our result can be compared, that will not work. One has to work on the same data set so that it can be give a result, comparable result. Basically most of the research are uncomparable just because of differentiation of the application. You work on a different data set, your friend work on a different data set, then how we can compare the result? You both build a machine learning algorithm, the result become incomparable because your data set was a different. Similarly, if we store our data in a common shareable vocabulary, which is our ontologies, then your result must be in a comparable format. Then your algorithm is doing well, or your friends, we will be able to quickly identify it. So these are the role of ontologies. Now let's talk about how we are using it in today's world, in the AI world. So we are using in building a smart city. What is smart city? It holds 6 dimensions, whether you talk about the smart economy, mobility, environment, people, living, governance. Actually we want to give finger define smart city in these 6 parameters, and one has to go through them in order and improve them to make a city smarter, which is the application or area of artificial intelligence. When we are able to work on a substantial and intelligent way where infrastructure and service into a cohesive wholesome using intelligent device for monitoring and controlling to ensure the substantiality and efficiency environment, that is all about the smart city application. So basically any in the when we talk about the smart people, we talk about the e-learning. Here we talk about e-learning, how to make our people smart by the e-learning. And for that, here in this particular research we are using ontology based approach. Now let's have a look at the problem formulation. How to do problem formulation in the e-learning domain. Please stay tuned so that you can see the more number of research problem, fundamental problem formulation. Here, as we working towards the smart people, here we are previously people work for e-learning 2.0. This time we are working for the smart people e-learning 3.0. What exactly it mean, how to transform that, we will get into the problem definition. And one more, that how to build the ontology. When we talk about the ontology engineering, it's our responsibility to build the ontology from the scratch. Either you can uh, use the pre-existing ontologies built by other organization and other authors. For example, ontology learning on the various topic, how to build that ontologies, what are the specific problem, when or you can start with the scratch, from the scratch text to ontology. from text to how to convert to the ontology. And as in the automata subject, we have a one problem, never ending learning problem. Similarly, ontology learning, ontology building is a never ending process. So one has to keep updating. Similarly, Wikipedia, Dbpedia, they keep on updating their content for the retrieval purpose. Similarly, in open information extraction is possible. So let's begin with the e-learning problem. What is our objective? Basically, we will solve our problem. We will try to incorporate, as we have discussed, personalization characteristic in e-learning 3.0 in order to make the people smart. Similarly, there is a two terminology, as we can see on our screen: adaptability and personalization. As we have discussed, the personalization means that giving the learner the required content, that is according to the person or learner requirement, that is personalization of content. When we talk about the adaptability, we talk about the learning, how to generate learning path sequence, how the learning path sequence is generated, how the learning path is created. We will discuss that. Please have a look. So what is the motivation behind this? We want, because we wants to provide the adaptive learning path sequence to the learner. As we all learners are different, we need to give a specific path to a specific learner. And how to make our e-learning content personalized. Once we store our user profile in ontology, once we store our e-learning content in ontology, we will be able to do that. We will be able to retrieve through the Sparkle query language. I hope you guys have gone through the SQL query language. This is a time to go through the Sparkle query language. It's kind of a similar. Those who have a background of SQL, they can well understand the Sparkle query also. Fundamentals are the same. Now, once we store our information in the ontology in terms of user profile and the e-learning content, then we can capture the learner learning style and our agents. Here we are talking about the AI, how the agent, JAD agent, Java Development Environment Agent, how they are collaborate in order to each other to communicate by using agent communication language. Once they are able to communicate with each other, then we are able to produce the result for that. Now let's have a look. Our objective is to use explore the ontology based adaptive personalized e-learning system using under the smart people 3.0. I hope everyone is able to see my screen.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your response. Yes, the if we work on any of these problem from the e-learning domain, then surely we will be able to get the good results, because these are the fundamental problem formulation for e-learning domain. uh, uh, what we are looking for the problem solving in e-learning domain. Since we are in 2025,
முடிஞ்சுதா?
we need to think from the perspective in
இன்னும் ஒருத்தர்
2050.
இருக்காரு.
Today, as we
4:05.
know, the generation does not want
அவர்ட்ட
to
தான் நான் சொல்லணும் சீக்கிரம் வந்து அட்டெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க அப்படின்ட்டு.
do the textbook
என்ன
reading.
சொன்னாங்க?
Everyone has switched to the digitalized mode. Now
ம்.
they will not even want to use the digitalized mode. Then what next? For that, we need to do the deep research, and fundamentally the degree of engagement of learner is completely different. One has to
ஒரு
understand
கிளாஸ்
what
தான் அவன்ட்ட தான்
type
போட்டு
of
கொடுத்தேன்.
learner:
கண்ணைக்குன்னு டீ கேட்டான்.
active reflective learner,
அப்படியே
sequential
நான்
global
தூக்கம் போவோம்.
learner,
அப்படியே நடந்து போய்
whether it's
வாங்கிட்டு
a
வாங்க போங்க.
audio learner, video learner, or what kind of learner. Once we are able to identify what is the kind of learner, then then next step is to work on these problem and build a bridge, build a AI bridge with the learner and the e-learning content. So on my screen, I'm sharing the few well-known problem formulation with the fundamental, starting with this: developing e-learning content. The every learner is different, so you need to build a different learning content according to the learner specific needs and requirement. Slow learner require the different content, and the fast learner, mediocre learner, and they need a completely different set of learner. Similarly, when we talk about the e-learning architecture, there are well known fundamentals. When we develop in a certain e-learning architecture, we keep on tracking which module is used. Monitoring and tracking become a fundamental rule in e-learning architecture. When we talk about the e-learning evaluation and effectiveness, this is the most challenging one. E-learning evaluation, uh, every well-known app will say we are the number one, but how to find that, how to evaluate that, how to give marks to their website, how to give marks to their app? Because one has to be in a scientifically very correct, without involving human intervention. These existing rating system is not so up to the mark, which genuinely says that their app is number one. Swiggy say we are number one, Zomato say we are number one. So we cannot rely on the rating system. One has to see the what kind of evaluation. Amazon, Flipkart, they keep on comparing with the rating system, but the rating system is not a well-known fundamental. So one has to see what kind of evaluation effectiveness is required, how we can evaluate. Once you build your e-learning system, then the question arises, your is better, your friend is better, who built the appropriate e-learning content? So for that, one has to work very rigorously on the evaluation and effectiveness parameter. So far very little research has been done in this particular problem formulation. So more, we are in 2050 we are expecting more number of papers from this particular topic, where we can evaluate and the degree and the impact on the particular learner, along with its evaluation and effectiveness. Now, e-learning pedagogy model and strategy. What are the strategies we can use for different learners? What are the criterias which is used? What are the different, every college use the different criteria, that we are going through this certifications, that student used to do this kind of certifications. Now there are the websites which able to access from anywhere anytime. These are all part of e-learning, but now challenge is to give them learning path sequence. Means what kind of path every learner should use. Means from chapter 1 to 3, these are the sequential learner which can learn chapter by chapter, but now the patience is very less in our learner. So we have to generate a learning path sequence. If a student is already at the mediocre level, so he can or she can skip the beginning part. So it is all about the learning path sequence generation. And when we talk about the classification of learner learning style, we have to see what kind of a learner we are interacting and how to evolve with that learner, and what we need to serve to that learner. So these are the two basic fundamental problem. One is to see what kind of learner we have and what kind of content we have, and how to deliver, how to bridge that both the things. And here the role of AI come, where our learning learner style and the content needs to be bridged. And later on we can facilitate these learning style by using information retrieval, personalization of content. The more personalized service you can give, the more happy learner will be. So the more service, more happier our learner will be. And particularly domain ontology, we can serve the gene ontology, DNA ontology, biological ontologies. These are particular food ontology, music ontologies. These are different domain and ontology. When we talk about the object recommendation, whether it's hybrid, collaborative, or other kind of learning, we have to recommend correct e-learning content to the correct learner. As we correctly recommend movie to our friend, we need to recommend correct learning content also. Now I will try to solve or show the real time one problem, so that you all get connected with the what so far we have gone through, how to solve a problem. If anyone having any query, they are more welcome to interrupt, and we will proceed with the what are the problem, and I will show you how ontology solve one problem, and in a quick way. So anyone willing to share the ppt, require ppt, I am willing to share it. Just mail me on my email id. I will show you at the end of this. Please have a look now how to solve this problem. Adaptive personalized learning, classification of learner learning style, and personalization of content. How we are able to, these are the problems, how to make adaptive content, how to make personalized content. So we have given a solution: ontology based adaptive personalized e-learning system assisted by software agent on the cloud storage. So we, for that we have used the JAD agent development framework, which is very foundation of intelligent physical agents. As we are belongs to the computer science domain, so we understand how the agent interact with each other, agent interact with each other by using agent communication language. I will show you this one on. As we are, what we are trying to do, we are trying to build a e-learning as a service. So we are trying to build e-learning as a service. There is a questionnaire, in very old questionnaire, but it is effective one, so that's why I'm using this one. Felderson Silvermont model. It is the questionnaire which we use in order to identify what type of learner it is. Once we identify, the questionnaire is used for Felderson Silverman model learning. Once we identify what are the learner, what kind of learner we have with us, then we can only serve personalized content. For that we have agent communicating with each other. Now let's see. Okay, we have in that particular questionnaire, Felderson Silverman model, we have a 11 11 minus 11 to 11 scale, which rate the learner. Once once we are able to rate the learner, whether it is an active learner, reflective learner, sensory, intuitive, visual, verbal, sequential, global. For example, I am taking here an example of a sequential and global. Here the sequential learner, which step by step learning, but we all know at exam time we all become global learner. Global learner means who wants to jump from one place to the another. They want to learn in the large chunks, so quickly, quick recap type. So these are the global learners. So once these are the option given on the website, and these changes from the sequential to the global, these changes are monitored by using the agent communication language. So we have used, once there is a learner, we identify what learning style it is. And for example, we identify the learner is sequential learner. Then we keep on recording the changes, initially detecting the changes. Once the changes cross the threshold, we will update that particular observed value. What is the learning behavior, we will observe that into particular ontologies, and we will update our ontologies accordingly. Let me show you the workflow of this. What is our domain in particular, as user profile is our domain, owl API. Once we store these ontology in ontology web language API, so we write that on the digital cloud, upload those uh, ontologies on cloud. Once they are deployed on the cloud, anyone JAD agent can interact, and agent can communicate with each other by using agent communication language, and we will able to retrieve the results. As we are reaching the time, so I will quickly show you the domain in which you can apply ontologies. So these are the JAD agent interaction. The Java developer can see on the screen. If you are not still a Java developer, you can use the code from that agent communication language, where here we can see the interactions and the particular change in the dimension. So in particular change in the learner dimension, here the dimensions are for this particular learner, the dimension has been changed. I will here we can notify that initial dimensions are this, detected was this, change in particular dimension. Once the change reach the threshold value, we particularly update into the ontologies. So these are the evaluation criterias for that evaluation dimension for the any ontology based approach. So this is an example of one. So any queries, please let me know regarding so far. Because time is
Sound correct.
approaching, I will quickly
Sound
show
correct.
the another application if time permits. Ma'am, can I proceed?
Oh, yeah, sure, ma'am. I will ask the questions at the end of the session.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So these are next is the one size fit all content deliverable approach. How to static learner to the learning path sequence generation. So updating the learning content. So these are the existing problems. So how to solve them? By providing the fuzzy Petri net and HHM model. Those who are from the computer science background, they have must heard about the HHM hidden Markov model. So these model is used for giving the learner path sequence. I will quickly show you so that once we store our information in the ontology, then we authoring. Authoring is the labeling of that particular e-learning content to the learning object. We store into the learning repository. Once we store our information into the learning repository, then fuzzy Petri net communicate with the HHM hidden Markov model algorithm, and we are able to retrieve this learning management system according to the learner profile. As we have stored what kind of a learner it is, what kind of tendency of learning, then only we are able to give next learning object to that particular learner. Initially learner enter into that, we score the, we analyze its pre score. Once the score is analyzed, then we are able to follow the path. Let me show you how it is done. Basically there are the types of Petri nets: fuzzy Petri nets, time based Petri net, colored Petri net. So here we are using, we have already compared these ANN. And why we are using hidden Markov model rather than ANN genetic uh, other algorithms? Why we are not using them? Because there are the disadvantage. HHM has a advantage of ability to discrete and work on the continuous training model. So we use this Markov model process, discrete time Markov process, as a result of memory less property, so that it will be helpful for us. So this is a workflow. But simply we are, what we are trying to say here is, in a summarized way, whenever a learner come, we need to identify its learning style. For this time we have used fuzzy Petri nets and hidden Markov model in order to identify the learner style. Let me show you. A learner come here, we identify which kind of learner according to the pre-test. Once we are identify, we are able to give learning path. So this is the bold one, is our learning path. Initially the values changes. How these values are changing? These values are changing according to the hidden Markov model uh, algorithm. So how basically we are able to give our learner accurate path from initially, that once it enter it was a beginner, then intermediate. The how after pre-test we are identify that learner is intermediate level, we cannot give it that learner as a beginner. So how the learning path sequence changes. So this is all about how to change our these are the two problems which I have discussed about the e-learning domain. So basically we look forward for the e-learning domain. So I try to discuss is in this particular time. Please, any queries regarding how to implement in e-learning domain, or any other domain, or any other specific query, please let me know.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you so much for the wonderful
Thank you,
session,
ma'am.
ma'am. So okay,
Thank you.
we have some few questions. So shall I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Well,
Yeah,
great.
please.
How can AI-powered anthologies help identify and fill knowledge gaps for individual learners in real time?
Yeah, in real time, there are the types of ontology. For this particular scenario, we can use time based ontologies. For example, in this particular ontology, I have used static ontologies. There are the different types of ontology. For real time ontology, we can go for the time and event based ontologies. So we can store our information in terms of time and event based ontology. Here, for example, I have used the user learner ontology in order to identify the user profile. But if we go for the specific time event based ontology, then we will be able to deal with the real time application, ma'am.
Okay.
If you talk about the sensex data that come under the event based management, sensex, as the time evolve, the things change, so it's hard to capture that data. So one has to work on the time based ontology, which provide the timestamp. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay. Thank you, ma'am. What
Yes,
future
please.
skills might students develop more effectively through intelligent e-learning systems compared to traditional learning methods?
Yes, ma'am. As I have discussed, one can through ontologies, as ontologies are machine readable, so agent can be deployed on them. Once agent is deployed, then we can achieve the target of the future learners. Unless we cannot achieve that, because traditional have a limitation, only human readability, human output, human intervention. But what we agent can AI agent can do, it can be deployed on the uh, ontologies and interdisciplinary. What we are struggling is the bridge. That bridge can be developed by using only agent based applications, which is a part of AI, and the futures lie in that only, ma'am. How we by using ontologies, how facilitate we can make our e-learning system. That is the There are the two problem to tackle at one time. One is to see what kind of learner we are having, and what content and how to deliver that content, and that bridge needs to be done by AI. That fundamental application of that. For example, Sparkle queries, these query dbpedia, live dbpedia queries can be fired on that. So how to fire that query on the linked open data cloud? It is accessible by everyone. So as our Wikipedia is updating, our dbpedia is updating and storing information in owl format. So one has to see the scope of how to store our information in terms of ontology, or we can use the already built ontology by ontology engineers, and we can use those ontologies for our particular domain.
Thank you, ma'am. How could
Yes, ma'am.
AI-driven anthologies change the role of teachers in higher education over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. How it will change the role? Yeah. Because human capability is limited, but once we hand over it to the machine retrieval system, which is our based on backbone of the particular so far, the domain knowledge are secure on a particular domain. But when we talk about the interconnectivity, these are food ontology, music ontology. If we connect all these ontology and deploy the agent, then only we can retrieve the results which are
Table.
applicable for these roles, which is still limited. In this particular time frame, it is still limited. The knowledge has not been attained so much. In the future, what we can do, we can focus on the building an approach for e-learning content and delivering in the both the direction, from the learner perspective, also from the developing e-learning content. Once we are able to work on both the directions simultaneously and evolving that, as web is also evolving, so we have to evolve our e-learning system according to that. To meet the requirement, one has to as we know, each learner has the now very
Arma.
limited time span,
Brown the
concentration. So
same rate. That's
EEG,
why
so one has to focus on the EEG mind EEG signal.
அதுக்கு நான் என்ன
Once we
வருதோ
are
அது
able
தரதான்
to
அதுல
store
என்ன
our
மாத்தவா
EEG
முடியும் வேற
signal
தான்ட்டு
directly signal from our brain
இன்னைக்கு
to
எப்போ
the
வரானா
ontologies, then we will able to focus on the future
எப்பமா
e-learning
வரான்
content. there are various countries which are working on these EEG models and gather the reactions of the
ஒருத்தர்
students
இருக்காரு.
in the real time scenario and
அவர்
in
ரெடியா இருக்காரு.
itself
இந்த
in the
மேம் முடிய
classroom.
மாட்டேங்குது.
So their learning pattern is
இந்த
completely
மேம்
different from
முடிக்கல.
our. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. It's my
Yeah.
last question. What
Yes, sure, sure, ma'am.
challenges
Please.
and ethical considerations should institutions anticipate
Hmm.
when implementing semantic technologies for personalized learning at scale?
Yes, ma'am. That is very well, because still this is the unexplored area, because so far the unethical has not been, there is no gray boundary has been set so far. So one has to see how the, because learner these days things has been completely evolving in such a way that it is due to the digitalization, things are evolving so quickly, it's very hard to find the remedy for it. But when we talk about the unethical things, so there is a security. That's why I used I suggest my students to deploy ontologies on the cloud storage and allow us to cloud security. So use the key constraints and the other requirements, so that whatever we benefit of the AWS cloud, that can be facilitate our ontologies also. Ma'am, we can do only by using the cloud storage.
Yeah, so many thanks for the insightful answers, ma'am. They have been really helped and shed light on the topic. I hope everyone found it easy to follow and gain a clear understanding. So, okay, now
Thank
I
you,
would
ma'am.
like to invite Dr. Shirali to deliver the vote of thanks.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks, Monica. I think that
Thank you.
was
Thank you.
that was quite technical for me, but
It's okay.
I learned a lot of different things, and I think this enlightening session on
Thank you so
AI
much.
powered ontologies in e-learning has been quite interesting, and it was very very innovative for me to see that how semantic technologies can bridge the knowledge gaps and transform the way we connect learners to information. And you are quite an experienced person, and your expertise has shown us that the future of education definitely lies in intelligent systems that empower and not replace the human learning.
Yeah.
And
It is an extension.
we really value your deep insights. Thank you very much,
Thank you so
Monica.
much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sukandi?
Yes, ma'am. Next year, she says
Yeah, I
to me.
think Dr. Ashraf, he had joined, but he had
Yeah,
left. I
yeah,
think he was supposed. Yeah, yeah. So you can ask him to join
yeah,
back.
yeah.
And do you want me to do a closing thank you speech as well after he finishes?
Anything okay?
Yep. I think after he finishes, I'll do that just for a couple of
Yeah,
minutes.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hi,
Okay.
hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am. Good
Uh,
afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So thanks for asking. Okay, sir.
Thanks so much.
Shall we start the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, great.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Shirali
S-
Arya.
Sir, just wait. We
Yeah.
will
Hi. Good
wait.
afternoon. How are you, Dr. Ashraf?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Fine, ma'am.
Nice to meet you virtually, but not good to meet you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Shall we start, sir?
Yeah. Let's start here.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
please.
So actually, it's a great job, everyone. We have successfully wrapped up our third session. So now get ready as we move on to our fourth speaker with a truly perfect topic. So you won't want to miss this, okay? So ladies and gentlemen and dear friends, a very warm welcome to all of you. It's such a joy to see you here for an exciting session on graying population and the digital divide. So today, we will explore how technology impacts our older generations and how we can bridge gaps to make the digital world accessible for everyone. So, it's all about inclusion, connection, and ensuring no one is left behind in this fast paced digital era. And here is the thought to inspire us as we dive in. It's never too late to learn, and it's never too late to grow. So let's make the most of the session and discover ways to close the digital divide together. So before we begin Dr. Yashir Ashraf session, I would like to take a moment to introduce him. So I hope you are ready for another inspiring session now. It's my pleasure to introduce a truly remarkable personality, Dr. Yashir Ashraf, faculty and head of the Department of Sociology at VET Institute of Arts and Science, Co-Education College, Tamil Nadu, India. Dr. Ashraf is a passionate academician with expertise in sociology, focusing on gender, education, rural development, WASH, medical sociology, and social policy. He is a PhD holder, a UNFPA grantee, and is actively involved in research and initiatives empowering marginalized communities. Beyond research, he is deeply committed to mentoring students, designing inclusive curriculum, and fostering academic collaborations. So, as we welcome him today, let's keep this mind thought is in your mind. So, education is the most powerful tool to empower communities and change lives. So, get ready to be inspired and gain insights into how sociology can truly make an impact. So at the end, I would like to introduce to the motto of Dr. Yashir, empowering communities through knowledge, inclusion, and social change. So I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Yashir, and also thanks a lot for joining us today. And over to you, sir.
So thank you so much for giving this brief introduction about me. So this is technically you have to introduce the guest. It's not necessary actually, but for formalities, formal work like that, you can do that. So I thank the organization Mastering Up for giving me the opportunity to speak on the diverse topic which I have taken here today is graying population and digital divide. And I thank Dr. Shirali Arya for being the convener of this session. So it's great to connect to you people or uh, the
Clear.
audience virtually, as Madam was telling. So we are not in the offline session. So I would now share my screen. Yeah, is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. So to start, as ma'am was telling that I have received the United Nations Population Fund, which was the project between Sri Lanka, University of Colombo. PI was Professor Harisha Lakshman, and Indian counterpart, Commissioner Investigator, was me, and I am the coordinator of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Maybe you are aware about that. That is the Ministry of Education, the flagship program to connect with the rural population and to learn, unlearn, and relearn to the rural areas where we are working with the rural places, adopting 5 villages. So, so, so what's graying population, and what is the digital divide? Graying population usually we say is the aging, it's old age, global aging trend. And what's the digital divide? The gap in access, skills, usage, because everything nowadays going through the digital electronic media or whatever you say, mobile phones, smartphones, and all. Before a couple of years ago, it was just the keypad phone. We were switching the numbers, typing the numbers, but after Reliance took over the in India, where you are starting with 4G and 5G, the whole thing has been changed. We, the people who are the digital immigrants, we have to learn a lot but when we are talking about the digital era, so there is a population. If you see the social demography, India is going to be, in 2030 or 2040, the demographers are telling that India is going to be the younger nations in the world. So what about that? What about after that? People are going to be, aged. So how we are going to connect this aging with the digital era? So there is a gap. Usually there is a gap between, in access, because people are usually in India. We say that people are like, uh, there is a lot of population which is not having the digital access so far. There are the places where the network is not available so far. So how we are going to, you know bridge this gap, usually when we talk about the aging population? So digital society, because everything, you go anywhere in the shopping malls or you go for the shopping, you have to access through QR codes, you have to access through mobile phones, you have to pay the bill through ATM cards, through scanning. So how we are going to bridge that gap? As you know, that aging is a, uh, largely undesirable period of life which we can't stop, because aging is a process which we can't stop. It has to go, and it is going on. We can't stop that. Aging, not only the, no we say that, it's not only the biological, it's not only the psychological, but number of terms are there which are very important to understand. It's viewed as largely undesirable period of life, during which a series of, physical, cognitive, social, and emotional declines occur. Emotionally, people are, the aged people are distressed. Physically, they are going to be weak, because with age the biological changes are there, and they are, the part of this period. So there are the signs of aging. For example, age, we can't stop the age. Once we are born, we have to continue the age. Graying population, gray hair, there is a, wrinkles on your faces, on your skin, because it reduces the stability, it reduces the the amount of the water present in the body. Because of that, the skin is getting wrinkled. We lose the teeth, we lose the hearing, the facilities, or hearing loss is there, vision loss is there, sometimes the memory loss is there, and chronic illnesses are there, like hypertension, prostrates, or you say the, diabetes. All these are the visible signs of aging, and people say that healthy aging is very important. So the changes which occur in an individual, which are the result of the passage of the time, element of time in living, a part of living begins with the conception and terminates with death. Because when you talk about the aging, or you say old age, or you see senior citizens, after 60s people retire from the job. It's a huge duration of the time, because nobody knows when people are going to die, when the senior citizens will die, or when I will die because of the aging. So it's a long duration of time. After 60s it reached to 100, it reached to 120, or some people reach to 200. So what are the facilities they are going to, make? What are the possibilities they are going to make? So with this, there are a lot of changes in health, in psychology, in emotional ways, in a lot of things. Or the concept of aging, it terminates with the death. If the death occurs, then aging also over. So the dimensions, as I told you, there are the factors which are responsible for the aging. There is a chronological, the aging, which when you are born, number of years since someone is born. It provides individuals with a means of distinguishing roles and relationships. Intergenerational roles, or people say that there are sandwich the generations, in terms of behavior and expectations that are linked to different chronological groupings. People with age, after 40s, after 50s, people no, there is a physiological change, there is a biological change, as there are the signs of the aging. So that reduces the health gets reduced, the what you say as appetite starts losing, eyesight gets no losing. Some gerontologists are the experts in the aging, they say that there is empty nest syndrome or Alzheimer's, whatever they call. So biological aging is there, which is known as the decline of a cell or organism due to aging, because number of issues are there related to aging. Sometimes functional aging refers to biological events occurring across time that progressively impair the physiological system, so that the organism becomes less able to withstand disease, ultimately increasing its susceptibility to death. Because I saw one ad in Facebook or one page where one person has full years of his service, he has put the money in his bank account, but suddenly after some time the money has gone. So with that note, no, so people have to connect this digital, this smart work or smartphones with their present era. Psychological aging, which includes feelings, motivation, memory, emotions. Nowadays, the system of family is nuclear. People are migrating to urban sectors in search of jobs to live there for the comfortable life. So the rest of the generation are their parents. They are there in their rural places. So that distress, that sense of boomerang, or that sense of motivation, or that sense of feelings or emptiness syndrome is there. Because of that people lose their motivation, or they find their new sources of recreation. It focuses upon changes that occur during
5 நாள்
adulthood
ஆகும்.
to an
ஆனா
individual's
இவர் கொஞ்சம் ஸ்பீடா தான்
personality,
போறாரு. மொத்தம்
the
33
mental
ஸ்லைட் தான்
functioning,
வச்சிருக்காரு.
memory, learning
இப்பவே
the intelligence
8
and
வந்துட்டாரு.
sensory
கொஞ்சம் கடகடன்னு
perceptual
ஓடுறாரு.
processes. This
முடிச்சதும்
is
போவோம்.
the factor which is
என்னது
responsible for
குளிக்கணும்?
aging, that's
ஃபேஸ்
psychology.
வாஷ் குளிச்சாச்சு. ஃபேஸ் வாஷ் பண்ணிட்டு ட்ரெஸ் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிட்டு கிளம்பணும். நீங்க குளிக்கலல்ல?
Then relate to social aspects or social aging. It experiences that individuals will
அவன்
encounter
கிளம்பவே
in
தான்
their
சொன்னான்.
roles and
அவன் இருக்க
relationships
மாட்டான்.
with other people, how they are meeting, how they are greeting, what's intergenerational no
ஆ?
connection between the 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 the,
அப்புறம் என்ன
the
செய்யணும்?
young generation and the
கொண்டு
grandparents,
விடுவேன்.
or
வான்னுட்டு
with
இருக்குது.
their son or with their
வா.
daughter. What's the
அவர்
relationship
கூப்பிட்டாரா என்ன
of that?
செய்யணும்?
The ways in which society helps to shape the meanings and experiences of
இரு.
aging, how the society is creating the social support to
வரல போ.
the graying population, or the aged, or the elderlies, how the
இரு
relationship
நான்
is
காலை
there,
மடக்கிட்டு உட்கார்றேன்.
how they
இரு.
are
எல்லாத்தையும் இழுத்து
experiencing the
போட்டுறாத.
social support. So social aging includes the expectations and assumptions of those around us about how we should behave, what
ம்?
we are like, and
என்னது?
what we can do, and
மறுபடியும்
what
சொல்லு.
we should be doing at different ages. Because when we retire, people say that no, we are just the dependent population. We are not independent population. We are not going to earn anything. So, what is the social aspects of aging? That relationship, how people treat you, how you behave with the people, how people behave with
இருக்காதா
you.
உடைக்கல.
That all points are very important in social aging. The concept of social aging refers to the ways in which those expectations influence what opportunities are open to us as we grow. As we grow old, what is the social responsibilities, social expectations, how you influence the generation. Usually, the elderlies are to take care of the home, to go to do the groceries, to rear and care the new ones. Then aging is universal. It's a universal phenomena, it's a universal process, which means it occurs in all members of the population. Aging is progressive and it's continuous. It's not dynamic, it's not no, it's not static, it's dynamic, it's progressive and it's continuous. Cycle goes on. some of the social aspects of aging, which like change in roles, negative stereotypes, social responses of aging, positive stereotypes, negative stereotypes, positive attitudes, and positive discrimination. For example, negative stereotypes. Most older persons have no sexual activity or desire because they are fed up when people get aged. They don't like their couple because if the couple is available, one of the person is available, so other desire is gone. So people usually say this is the negative stereotype that they don't have the sexual desire or sexual activities. Older persons are just ugly because of wrinkles, because of eye loss or vision loss or ear loss. So this is a negative stereotype. They can't remember the things. This is the negative stereotype. People have the mental abilities are not proper because of the physiological change in the body. So old workers are not much effective as the younger ones are. So people, if they go for the job to earn their livelihood again after, no, after they get aged, people usually say that this is the negative stereotype that old age can't do much effective work as the younger ones can do. So the majority of the older persons are socially isolated, lonely. As I told you, there is an empty nest syndrome, there is Alzheimer's, there is no, we call it as the sandwich generations or sandwich something they are talking. So they are socially excluded. So this is a negative stereotype. Most older persons live in poverty. Why? Because some now there are no people who are aware about the savings and all, but most of the population or most of the elderlies, they live in poverty. They can't save the money because rural areas or whatever you say. Then what is the positive stereotype? Have great wisdom because of the experience so far. They are more dependable. They are well off financially. They are powerful political force. They are free to do whatever they want, and they are full of peace and serenity. These are the positive stereotypes related to aging. So, negative attitudes.
Huh?
Very few people perceive that
4 பேர் இன்னைக்கு.
60s and 70s as the best years of one life. Most of the people choose that 60s and 70s as the worst years of the personal life because
Ah,
as as the physiological change, the psychological change, the economical change is there. So people see that the elderly or the age between 60 and 70, or apart from that, this is the not the good no part of the life. The older years are the worst because of the bad health or physical decline, loneliness, or financial issues. So this is the worst part of the life. This is the negative attitude. Children prefer being with younger adults rather than older adults. They don't want to mingle. They want to interact with only older, not with the older adults, but their same younger adults. So most people have a mixture of negative and positive attitude towards the elderly, but few have
ஒன்றும்
predominantly
செய்யலைல.
mentally positive attitudes. So positive attitude. Some people look forward to retirement as the golden years
என்னாச்சு?
because they want, they have saved the money. They want to enjoy the rest of the life with their
உங்க
grandchildren or their children. That is the positive attitude.
என்னாச்சு?
Some society supports, social support is needed, and they give the social support to the elderlies. So employment practices are still discriminatory. As I told you that most of the companies, most of the organizations, they don't want to give employment to the elderlies because they are not competent, they can't do anything. So that is discriminatory, negative discrimination. So families discriminate by different treatment of the elderlies. Housing segregation occurs with the elderly becoming concentrated in certain areas. Or healthcare practices are still inadequate to cover the needs of the older persons. Still, people don't
கஷ்டம்.
know, or some of the generations, they don't know what are the facilities available from the government, what kind of policies the government has made available to the elderly. So that awareness is lacking. So tax benefits, discounts, and employment benefits are available. It's a positive discrimination. In the political arena, the elderly face better as candidates for office and enjoy legislative benefits. So, like that. Then coming to digital, digital era, or what is digital literacy, which is very important, which is the topic also, aging and digital divide. Digital literacy is generally understood as an individual's ability to find, understand, communicate, and use information effectively through digital devices and technologies. There are the people, there are the elderly who don't know how to use the ATM. They ask you and me, or they ask the security guard who is available there, just to insert the ATM in the ATM to draw the cash from the ATM. So that literacy we need to have. Financial literacy, that literacy we need to have. That kind of knowledge we need to have. So how we are effectively using the digital devices. There is a cyber threat is there. How we are going to cope up with that? Whether we are aware about that cyber threat or no. So that sort of knowledge we need to have. So some of the examples of digital literacy: how you operate the device, using smartphone to video call a family members, whether you know how to switch on the ATM, switch on the internet or no, how you want to do the video call to your son or daughter or your family members, whether you are aware about this or no, how you are operating the device. So that kind of knowledge we need to have. That kind of knowledge transfer we need to have to this elderly, the population. How you are navigating the internet or internet navigation, how you are using. Are you using it for online learning, or just scrolling down to see the YouTube videos, or what sort of entertainment you have, what navigation you have, whether you are reading the news, whether you are accessing online courses, or some sort of navigation, how you are using the internet, whether you are aware about of that. How you are emailing or messaging, using messaging apps to stay in touch with your friends, how you connect with your friends. This is the example of digital literacy. How you are accessing healthcare, because telemedicines are there, telehealth is there. How you are scheduling your appointments by using the internet device or using your smartphone, whether you are able to book the appointment or no, whether you are able to connect to your doctor or no, whether you are able to access this healthcare facility or no, which is available there in the smartphone. So that literacy we need to have in the older elderly. Using personal monitoring devices, using medical alert devices for an emergency, or the bank is sending you the OTP or message or whatever you say, whether you are able to have the knowledge of that. So why is it very important in elderlies? Digital literacy. Its evolving digital landscape and aging population have the individual benefits. For example, it improves quality of life. It helps to maintain independence. You no need to depend on one another. You need no need to no depend on your son, daughter, or whatever is whosoever is available there. So it helps you to maintain independent, and it keeps people connected, because nowadays everything is WhatsApp, emo, something is there, Facebook, Instagram, or you say different apps are there. So whether you are aware about that, to in order to get connected to your family or to your friends, so it keeps you connected with your loved ones. It decreases loneliness and isolation, because number of channels are there which are part of recreation. So it will decrease your loneliness and some sort of isolation also. Materials are available now. AI parts are there. So if you read, if you open the book, if you open the knowledge materials, it really will help you. it assists with healthcare access because government has started Pradhan Mantri Sehat scheme. Whether you are able to access that, the help digital literacy will help you in
இது என்ன ஃபோட்டோ?
assisting that also.
இல்ல நான்
So
தெரியாததான்
to
கேட்கேன்.
self
அவங்க சென்ட்
management
மீன்னு
of the health,
கேட்டாக்கல.
nowadays there is
அது
an
என்னன்னு
app,
தெரியல. ஓப்பனும்
we
ஆகல.
call it as digital well-being. Whether you are aware about or
சும்மா
that,
தள்ளிட்டு இருந்தேன்.
people walk, then they put in the Google, in the smartphone, how
ம்.
many calories I have burned. So that sort of self management of health
இப்பதான்
is
புரியுது. நீ வந்து ரியாக்ஷன்
there.
குடுத்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் புரியுது.
So which is why it's very important in older adults also, not only the younger generations but also the older
நான்
adults
வந்து
also.
தாஸோடது தான் பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தேன்.
So why is it promotes intergenerational equity? Why?
என்ன?
Because nowadays everyone is moving out, so intergenerational equity will be there. People will be connected. It promotes that you can do video call to your grandsons or granddaughters or your son or daughter if they are working away from you. So it promotes that intergenerational equity also. So cost saving and contribution to the digital economy. Now, if you are a government employee, you have to access the bank account, you have to access your pension account. So it will help you in that also. It supports aging in place, which reduces unnecessary strain on healthcare systems also, and supports health system sustainability. So some of the barriers which are there to digital literacy, health barriers are there, support network barriers are there, barriers to convenience and ease of use, knowledge and information barriers. Just in the next slide, one by one. The poor motor skills, visual and hearing difficulties, and physical impairments make it challenging to engage with digital device effectively. You are not aware about the digital sources, you are not aware about the smartphone, how you are going to recharge your phone, how you are going to use your phone. So poor motor skills, visual challenges are there, hearing challenges are there. What these companies which are manufacturing these smartphones, they must be aware about the elderlies also to put the size sort of system in the phone or smartphone, like font size should be increased, or if the vision or vision problem is there, how much you can put the brightness and all that, these companies must be aware about that also. So specific conditions such as arthritis, cataracts, and tumors further complicate the use of computers and the internet, because the screen time, how much you are on this, whether you are using the laptop or smartphone, how much time you can use, how much time you are using, so whether you can use it or no. So that sort of complications are there. And cognitive impairments such as memory loss and forgetfulness
பால் வாங்க
add
போலையா?
another layer of the difficulty. This is part of the health barrier in elderlies. Support network barriers. Many of the elderlies lack sufficient social support from family, friends, and community. They think that elderlies are burden on them. So this is really the challenge. Or the elderlies don't know how to use the WhatsApp, the Instagram. So which is another issue or another challenge in the digital era for these elderlies. So dependence on younger family members for digital skills is not always reliable. They come to you, they always torture you how to use this, how to message my friend, how to use, how to see this OTP has come from the bank or somewhere. So it becomes always reliable. It becomes sometimes the irritating thing. So absence or discouragement of family or peers often hinders the adoption of the digital tools. If you are not aware about that, if your kids and kins are not available, so it becomes difficult for the elderlies to use the smart gadgets. So Positive or negative attitudes with social networks can impact older adults' engagement with technology. There are the websites which are not uh, reliable, or they are the plus 18 sites which will have the negative attitude towards these elderlies. So that sort of support network barriers are there. So complex interfaces, small font sizes, as I told you, that poor sound quality, multiple authentication requirements pose significant challenge. If as a educated person, he can open the Gmail account or the Google account, but see the population which is not even knowing how to use the smartphones, how he is going to make this kind of multiple requirements. That also becomes the challenge for elderly because they don't know how to open the account. When you are buying a new phone, they are telling you to open the Gmail account, then only you can access the phone. So that requirement is really challenging for the elderly. So many devices and technologies fail to accommodate age-related declines in vision, hearing, memory, and cognitive processing speed. So the electronic companies or the smartphone companies, they must be aware about that elderly is part of the society. So that sort of features they must put inside this gadget. So, continuous updates and change in digital devices and websites create additional hurdles for older adults. Continuously, there are calls from the company, there are messages from the company, or lot of sources are there which are continuously, pissing you off relate to this updates, digital devices, new websites, new advertisements. That becomes challenging for the elderlies as well as younger ones also. That barriers to convenience and ease of use is very important to understand. Then information barriers. There is a greater gap in computer proficiency and knowledge for older adults due to limited use throughout their lifetime. Some, oh, as I told, we are digital immigrants. We don't have that much of knowledge about the computer, and this smartphone recently have come to show. So we don't have that much of proficiency. So because we didn't use that gadgets entire life, so it becomes the barrier for elderlies. It reduces effective use of patient portals and other digital. When we talk about the health platforms, it also reduces the effectiveness. And many older adults are unaware of available digital technologies, services, and their benefits, which further limits their adoption of these technologies. There are the percentage of the populations which are not aware about this, the digital technologies and all, or we say as IT or ICT or digital devices. They are not aware about this. So that is a barrier. We need to make sure that we need to uh, teach them. We need to create awareness programs relate to this
அவளுக்கு என்ன?
knowledge barrier or information barriers, so that the elderly also will will be aware about this digital technologies, how we are going to use the smartphones
அவ
or
கரெக்டா
laptop or
வைக்கணுமோ?
whatever you say.
நீ டீ பால் வாங்க போறீங்களா இல்லையா?
So perception barriers, as I told you that there was one page in LinkedIn which I have put just AI image here, that he has
ஏம்மா
70
கேஸ்க்கு என்ன
years
சொன்னாங்க? ஃபுல்லா
he
சொல்லவே
has
இல்ல என்ட்ட.
saved the money, but he became the part of the
சரி.
cyber threat or digital arrest, and
என்ன?
his money was gone. So that barriers are there,
மொத கால் பண்ணி
which
குடுக்குவோங்கயா?
concerns about online
காச
security,
குடுத்துட்டு.
whether your account
சரி,
is
இப்ப
safe,
இந்த சிலிண்டர்
whether
வந்து
your
நமக்கு
Aadhaar
இந்த
is safe, or
காலியாகலையாக நம்ம புக்
the
பண்ணிக்கலாமா?
your
எப்படி?
the personal
இல்ல போய்
privacy is
வாங்க தான்
safe.
சொல்லணுமா?
So that are the challenge, that are the
ம்.
deterrents, or we call it as hurdles also. Fear of
ம்.
privacy breach,
ம்.
reports of online scams, phishing attacks, and identity theft.
என்ன?
So we as a younger population, adult population, we
தாரீங்களாண்ணா?
have to be very vigilant about this. Then talk about the senior citizens, how much
அப்புறம் கதை வாங்கியதுக்கு?
cautious or how much active they need to be
அப்ப அப்படி
when
செய்வோம்.
when they are using this online gadgets or using the internet facilities. So, older adults often experience anxiety and mistrust of technology because of lot of advertisements, because of lot of new websites, new conditions and terms. So they become anxious, or sometimes they feel bored of this.
படம் பார்க்க போணுமா?
So constant monitoring implications of being
கேட்கல.
watched or recorded without consent. We
அவன் என்ன செய்வான்? நீ நீ போர்
I
அடிக்கும் நேரம் இருந்தா
agree. We put that box also just to tick mark that we don't know what will be the
அவ்வளோதான்
cause of
வேலை இல்லை
that,
இப்போ.
what will be the consequences of that. So that perception barrier is there. Then low educational levels and financial concerns can intensify digital fears. If you are not aware about the digital technology, digital present era, then you are going to intensify this digital fear, because you are switching that the websites which are not relevant to you. So you need to have you are creating the fear among you, that how I am going to cope up with that. So that sort of awareness, that sort of education we have to give to the elderlies to reduce that digital fears. So concerns relate to social isolation, stigmatization, and threats to independence. Fear that reliance on smart technologies could lead to reduced human interaction, limited physical activity, and increased loneliness. The perception barrier that digital technology is going to take human interaction, that's not there. If you want to connect to your friends, if you have no education about the digital devices, you can connect to your family members. If you are not, if the perception is that, then it's not the barrier. If the perception is that you are not going to meet your son, you are not going to interact with your kids and kins, then it becomes the perception barrier. So many older adults have indicated that they prefer traditional methods of communication, such as letters, which is age old. Traditional methods of connecting to your relatives, to your friends, to your family members which are apart from you. So they want to do it in a traditional way of doing. But that sort of knowledge they have, but that is old age now. That can't be helpful in present generations. They value personal connection and the comprehensiveness of physical interaction and activities. They don't want this smart digital era or digital technologies, but they go with their traditional age-old methods to connect to their or to make their personal connections. Then resource barriers. There is a poor internet speed. Earlier it was 2G, now 3G, now 4G, now there is a 5G speed. That poor internet speed is a resource barrier. There is insufficient storage space in your smartphone, or whether any gadget you are using. Lack of necessary equipments like smartphones or computers limit digital technological use. When you don't have the infrastructure, when you don't have this resources available, then you are completely digitally divided. So that resource barriers are there. If you can't afford the digital devices such as smartphones, such as internet, then you are digitally divided. The absence of personalized training and ineffective teaching methods limit older adults' ability to learn and use digital technologies. If you don't have the training, you don't have the education about the digital methods, then you treat yourself that I am unable to do the what you say as I am ineffective in teaching the smart gadgets. Then rigid and non-tailored instructional approach can lead to frustration, disengagement. In gerontology, we treat it as that's called as disengagement theory, or a lack of confidence,
என்ன
making
போட்டீங்க
the
பாலா?
learning process overwhelming.
எந்திரிச்சு மூக்கு கறி
You can't
விழுந்துச்சு
do
எனக்கு.
this. You don't know how to use the technology. Then a lack of
சாக்லேட்டா?
confidence comes in you. Then you are not able to cope up with the
அப்ப
technology. Then
வத்தல்
you
இருக்கான்னு
say that
பார்த்துருக்கலாம்ல,
I
மிளகா
can't
வத்தல்.
use the now
வத்தல்
the
இல்லல்ல
smart
சேர்த்து கொண்டு
gadgets.
வந்திருப்பான்ல.
So that sort of disengagement or that sort of frustration comes in the older
ஷாதில் போட்டிங்களா?
adultees when they think that there is a lack of
4 மினிட்ஸ் இப்போ
confidence.
வந்துருவான் பாரு, வெளிய கூப்பிட போறான்.
Then what sort of strategies are there to mitigate barriers to digital literacy?
எந்த கலர் போட்டீங்க கவரு?
Number one, collaborative learning is very
பாக்கெட் கவர்
important.
என்ன கலர்?
We
கிரீனா?
need to encourage our peer support or intergenerational mentoring programs. That's very
வயலட்டா?
important.
இதெல்லாம் வேற
Intergenerational.
என்னமோ
We need
போட்டிருக்க
to
மாரி
have
இருக்கு.
the
டைரி மில்க்
multi
பைட்ஸா?
generations available who can mentor the elderlies
அவங்களுக்கு பாயிண்ட்
in
போடணும்.
order to learn the digital devices.
இருக்கு, இருக்கு.
Leverage family members and warm experts, example
அப்ப
staff in
நமக்கும் சேர்த்து
care
போடு, நீ சாப்பிட
facilities.
வேணாம்.
We partner with non-peer groups to offer collaborative learning opportunities. We leverage with university or student-led programs or care facility programs. That
பட் இதுல
collaborative
ரிட்டர்ன்
learning
கிடையாது.
will help the elderlies to learn the digital technologies. Hold digital literacy sessions in accessible community centers, or if you are in a rural place in panchayat, you can hold this meeting or awareness program so that the elderly can learn how to use the digital devices. Then structured content for training sessions, partner with community-based programs and library sessions. You incorporate gamification, that's activities with elements of gameplay such as point scoring and competitions and hands-on learning. When we talk about the our village, healthy village, then you can have the structured content of our training sessions regarding to elderlies, where you can play some games, you can do some activities or over the internet also. You implement digital health literacy programs and knowledge sessions, then that will help you to in the digital literacy. Then technological facilitated self-learning. You promote user-friendly design, step-by-step guides, and observational learning through competency-based programming. Support self-exploration with assistance available when needed. So, technological facilitated self-learning awareness is very important. Then, tailored interventions, which provides personalized home-based training that caters to individual needs and abilities. Adapt programs to accommodate physical limitations and learning paces. Use digital literacy workshops with user-driven content. So the interventions which are tailored to elderlies, that sort of programs we need to have to understand in the elderly's perspective how they are going to become digitally literate, and what sort of adaptive tools we are going to use simplified interfaces and devices that are easier to navigate. You no need to put such sort of content which is they can't learn, they can't understand. So in a simple, in a lucid manner, you can make such interfaces which are easily understandable, and provide adaptive equipment like styluses or larger keyboards for those with motor skill challenge. Those who are having this sort of challenge, like uh, uh, motor challenges, they can use the key which is the keyboard which is larger in size or user friendly. Continuous support, you ensure that ongoing engagement with follow sessions and refresher courses. You establish help desks or online communities to offer continuous support to the elderly regarding the digital literacy. Then only we can mitigate this digital divide. Then
ம்?
the digital exclusion can negatively impact their mental health, leading to feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and depression. If they are not aware about the digital technology, digital devices, then certainly they will be digitally excluded, they will be divided. Negatively, they can't know, their health will be degraded, their mental health, the sense of isolation, the sense of loneliness will be there in the elderlies if they are not connected digitally to you. So, older adults often miss out on the benefits of the digital technology, such as online communities, virtual entertainment, smart home tools, that could enhance their quality of life. That should not be missing in the elderly. So make sure that they are aware about these sort of facilities. So lack of digital access also weakens social support system, which are critical for managing age-related challenges, including health issues, cognitive decline, and financial insecurity. So make sure that the lack of digital access is not there in the elderlies, because it is directly connected to their quality of life. Otherwise they will become there will be the issues relate to anxiety, relate to loneliness or emptiness syndrome. You prioritize user-friendly
Enai?
interfaces that are tailored to the needs and
Terla.
capabilities of graying population,
Terla.
which can bridge the digital gap and improve their quality of life. You prioritize that interfaces in your smart gadgets, which are easy accessible for the elderlies. The font
Enai?
size should be high. It should be
ஏன் கிடையாது அது மட்டும் வேணாம்
increased in numbers, and size sort of interfaces you use that are very easy or that are accessible to the elderlies. That sort of digital platforms we need to provide to the elderlies in order to improve their quality of life. Yeah, that's all. So digital inclusion is not privilege, it's a right. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the wonderful session, sir. We have got some questions lined up. So, shall I go ahead and ask them now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Sir, how can technology be designed to better meet the needs of the aging population and make digital services more accessible?
That's what in the last slide I told, that the size sort of interfaces we have to use, that will be that are easy accessible to the elderlies. That only can help us in this graying population.
Oh, thank you. What skills or digital literacy programs will be most important for older adults in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, when we talk about this Anand Bharat Abhiyan schemes or Anand Bharat Abhiyan, they are telling that go to your adopted villages, just conduct the awareness programs. There are some recreational programs. With that, you can just take one session relate to digital technologies also. That will be helpful for this older adults or elderlies in your village, because only the elderlies are there in the home in rural areas. Rest of the families are going out for the job or work or whatever you say, labor. So we need to create some sort of connection between the panchayat and the village in order to come and make some interfaces there, so that they can come and learn regarding the digital resources. Or you just go to their home, or they come to the panchayat, you teach them, or you give one session there every the day you fix, then that will help in the coming years regarding this digital literacy.
Yeah, thank you, sir. What role can policymakers and communities play in bridging the digital divide for the graying population globally?
Yeah, when this Reliance has started this free service of the 2 years, they have given free internet to the entire India, I think. So let us assume that the elderlies get some sort of policy regarding that, in order to that digital divide will be declined. That sort of facilities that policymakers can make, because there are a lot of policies regarding
Potu potuku.
retirement, regarding elderlies. This sort of facilities must be available to the elderlies also,
Bunny.
or just
Million.
start one campaign for giving free smartphone to the elderlies.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for the useful answers. They have been really helpful in clarifying the topic. I hope the participants were able to follow along and understand the key points shared. So your insight have certainly added value to the session. So now I would like to invite Dr. Shirali to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Ashraf. I think when I was listening to this talk, it's something which is inevitable. All of us are going to go through that graying stage, and how technology is shaping up. I think that was a very important issue which we addressed here. How a graying population and digital divide needs to be kind of plugged in. And you reminded us that technology must serve all generations and that education has no age limit. Your perspective challenges us all to think about inclusivity across the entire human lifespan. A very insightful session, and we are very grateful for that thought provoking contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, guys, we did it.
Thank you
We
so
have
much.
successfully completed today's conference series filled with inspiring guest speakers and some truly perfect topics. So, big thanks to everyone for being such an amazing audience. We will definitely catch up again in future collaborations. So, until then, take care and stay inspired. And bye, everyone. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you,
And
ma'am. Thank you.
and thank you, ma'am, Dr. Shirley Arya, for this wonderful speech and everything, ma'am.
No problem. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am. Yeah,
Do you
take
want me
care.
to conclude with a speech or should we just log off now?
I think this is enough. I think.
Okay, all good then.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you so much,
yeah. Thank
Sugandhi.
you, ma'am.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye
Bye.
bye.